Hi dear viewers and welcome to Display Repair. Have you ever been in a situation where the battery runs flat and you do not have jumper cables to start the car? You don't have any other option to get yourself out of trouble. You don't have a spare battery, you can't find a donor car for jump starting, and you think that all is lost. Well, there is a certain way you can get yourself out of trouble. It is not that easy. It demands some skill, but it can be done. All in all, once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad, but you'll see everything in the video. So stay tuned.
DisplayRepair.com. Be sure to visit us at our website DisplayRepair.com, where you can find more useful car and driving tips.
Now, dear viewers, before we start, I would just like to offer a brief explanation about how push start actually works, okay? I think that when you know how all of this functions, you may get a better idea of what you're supposed to do and better understand what we're going to show you in the next part of the video. Think of starting the car as a power flow, okay? As a flow of power. So, and this is simply put, so the power goes from the battery to the ignition key and to the starter. The starter turns the flywheel, that turns the crankshaft, and it starts the engine. That's the way all of this functions when everything is okay. But, of course, when the battery is dead, that power flow is gone. What you are in fact doing now is using another power flow. That comes from the wheels, that translates to the axle, to the transmission, and onto the engine, okay? So essentially, you're using a mechanical type of starter. What happens is when you, and we'll show you this later, when you push the car, you turn the wheels. These wheels turn the axles. The axles turn the transmission, and when you let the clutch go, we'll show you this later, you engage the engine with the transmission, and then you start the car that way. So push starting is another way of creating turnover for the engine and making it start. Now, before we start, I would just like to once more say that you can't do this on a car with automatic transmission. I don't want to go into details, but due to the construction of the automatic transmission, you can't do this. And if this happens to a car with automatic transmission or with a semi-automatic transmission and so on, if it's not a manual, I would not recommend doing this. In this case, I would sincerely advise to call a tow service and this way get out of trouble. So let's say the classical scenario is happening. You are stranded, okay? So you can't find a donor car, you don't have jumper cables, it's big trouble. The first thing you'll have to do if you're really alone, so you can't even find people to push you, then you will have to somehow push the car yourself on some sort of hill or somewhere where you can get some speed for the car, okay? This is very important. If you want to see how to push the car on your own, we have a video on that topic. Perhaps it can help in this kind of situation to get yourself out of trouble. Anyway, if you don't have absolutely anyone to help you, then you're going to have to push out the car yourself and find some sort of decline on the road, on the parking lot, anywhere else where you can gain some speed. But in most cases, you will probably be able to find a person or two to help you push start the car, okay? In most cases, if the engine starts well, one person that has a fair amount of strength will be able to help you. So you can sit in the car, that person can push you, and you'll be able to start the car. Now, presuming you have found some help and someone is willing to push the car, the first thing you should do is to insert the ignition key and turn it to run. This is very important for two main things. First of all, to unlock the steering wheel. Second, to turn on the ignition of the car, because without it, the ignition system will not work and the car will not start. Even if the battery is flat and you don't see the dashboard warning lights, turn it on, because once the car is jump started, the alternator will start recharging the system and everything will come back to life. Then after that, press the clutch and then choose the gear in which you will do the jump start. Now, I've seen lots of videos that recommend that you do jump start in second gear. My recommendation is to use the third gear. Why the third gear? Because it is a perfect ratio for starting the car. It will give enough force to start the car, but it will not put up resistance to the engine and possibly damage it. Now, I wouldn't want to scare you, but there is a slim possibility when jump starting the car, if you have a car that has a timing belt, okay, not a chain, but a timing belt, that it can skip. The way to reduce this risk to the very minimum is to put it in third gear. You know, if you put it in second gear, there is a bigger risk of this because there is more resistance to the engine. So press the clutch, put the car in third gear. So dear viewers, now you have pushed the clutch and put the car into gear. The next thing is you have to achieve enough speed, momentum and inertia for the car to start. If one person is pushing you, be prepared that this will take some time. It will take some distance for the car to gain speed, but you must do it or else the push start will not work. You're gonna need at least something like 20-30 meters if the engine starts well to start the car. In this case, if you're lucky enough, it is a very good solution to find someone that will tow you. This way you will achieve the needed momentum in an instant. So if there is someone willing, because this is pretty risky business, it's a bit of an acrobatic, especially if that person is towing you with a simple tow cable, you have to be careful what you're doing. But if someone is willing to do that, it is an immense help. And the push start is almost 99% successful. If you find that person that will tow you, just be careful what you're doing. Pay attention to the person in front of you so you don't accidentally hit the other car. One more thing that I would recommend is to lower the window on your car and have contact with either the person that's pushing the car or the person that's towing you. But of course, this is only possible if you have enough juice in the battery, not enough electricity to lower the windows. If you can't, then you'll have to manage with the windows up. But again, this is very useful to do if you have any possibility, lower the window. Now, dear viewers, also it is very important to have proper communication with the people that are either pushing or towing the car. This is immensely important to avoid causing, God forbid, any kind of accident or damaging the car and so on. When someone is pushing the car, that is very easy. You just push your head through the window, tell that person, start pushing the car, you push start the car, and it is all over. It is obvious what is happening, and the possibility is almost zero of having any kinds of problems. But if someone is towing you, you have to be extra safe regarding this. What is the problem? It is the lack of communication. That person in the car really doesn't know what's happening in your car, and this can cause an accident and a problem. The best way to solve this is to, if you have a phone on you, call that person, have a phone line open and you can talk to that person. But if you don't have that possibility, you can do it the old way, and that is to push your hand through the window like this. I don't know if you can see this, like this, and tell that person with this motion to start moving. When you want to tell that person to stop, turn your palm downwards and do like this. Okay, hope you can see this. So this is for go, this is for stop. This may be a bit primitive, but it's very effective. So keep your window down, push your hand out the window, and that person will see in the rearview mirror what he or she is supposed to do. This is very important, again, to avoid sudden jolts of your car and the car that's towing you and causing damage, ripping a bumper off, ripping the tow cable, tow bar, whatever, causing all kinds of damage. It is also important to avoid accidentally hitting the car in front of you. Be sure that that person, in lots of cases, does not know when you succeed push starting the car, when the engine starts, and they may continue towing you. They may stop suddenly, and it may again cause problems. So know that a push start is a coordinated action and that all sides have to know what is happening. Now, before they start pushing you, you press the clutch fully. You can keep your foot on the gas pedal, but you don't have to, because when you start the car and if you were to press the accelerator pedal, the car could accelerate suddenly and you can hit the car in front of you. So just keep it there. Don't press the gas pedal, press the clutch, insert the car into third gear, and the towing or the pushing starts and the car moves. Once you have gained, and this is the most important part, once you have gained speed, slowly start releasing the clutch. And I mean slowly, 1 millimeter at a time. Like this motion that I'm showing you. Once more, the clutch is pressed, slowly release it. And what you will experience in this moment is the car jumping like this, up and down. It is trying to start because this is the transmission and clutch engaging the flywheel and actually turning over the engine. And if everything is okay, the engine should start. Once the engine has started, immediately press the clutch again, disengage the transmission, and start applying the brake so you can stop the car. If someone is towing you, signalize to them to stop also, apply the brake and stop the car. After this, put the car in neutral and let the engine run so the battery can start recharging. So viewers, let's go through the whole procedure one more time. Perhaps you'll get even a better idea when we do it without the extra explanations. So you're inside the car, the battery is dead, perhaps the starter is not working. The first thing you do is insert the key, turn on the ignition. The ignition may or may not work. There may be some power inside the battery. If there is, try to lower the window. Lower it fully. After this, press the clutch, put the car into third gear, lower the handbrake if it's pulled, and this way you are ready to push start the car. Once you gain speed, slowly start releasing the clutch. The car will start to jump. The engine is started. The moment it started, press the clutch again, apply the brake, and stop the car. If there is a car towing you, signalize him or her to stop their car and to stop towing you. After this, put the car in neutral, pull the handbrake if possible, and let the car run so the alternator can recharge the battery. So, dear viewers, as you've seen, nothing complicated. Again, the most important thing is to have good coordination. Once you gain enough inertia and momentum, slowly release the clutch, listen to the engine. Once it starts, immediately press the clutch, and that's it. Okay, stop the car, the engine has started, and that's it. When everything is done properly, a push start lasts a couple of minutes, okay? A minute or two, and everything is over. On this part, I would also like to mention that you are probably asking yourself why I didn't do a push start in this video, okay? To show you a real life example. Well, there is a purpose for that. And that is to tell you to avoid push starting the car as much as you can. For instance, I've push started the Skoda for 2 times in a span of 10 years. Both times the battery went flat. The first time when I just bought the car, the second time a few years have passed, so happened again, you know, just before I was going to work. As you can see, I live in the countryside. I'm pretty far away from town. I didn't have anyone available to give me a jump start with cables. All in all, I pushed the car, my wife drove the car, and we started the car in a matter of minutes. It takes only 10-20 meters to push the car for the Skoda to start, since it has a good engine, and the problem was solved. Also, I've helped people push start their cars for dozens of times. You know, people are very resentful in doing this because it's a pretty dramatic situation when you look at it from the side. The car jumps when you push start it. It's sort of a, you know, dramatic situation. But as you've seen, it's simple and there is nothing to be afraid of. To get to the point of why am I telling you all this? Push start the car as less as you can. Do push starting only if you have to. And have this in mind if you especially have an older car and a higher mileage car, and especially if you don't know when the timing belt, if you have a car with a timing belt and not a chain, when the timing belt was changed. Again, as I mentioned in the previous parts of the video, if you don't do this properly, or if you do this several times, the timing belt may skip. Again, this is a rare occasion, but it does happen. The timing belt can skip, and once you start the car, you can bash the engine. The best way to push start a car is to do it in one take, so to say, and to put as less stress on the engine, the transmission, and everything else as possible. So, dear viewers, that's it for this time. I hope this video helps. Please like and subscribe. It's a huge help for what we're doing. Also, if you find the time, watch our other videos where you can see other car maintenance, driving tips, and other car-related topics that may help you with your car and having an easier life with your car altogether. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time.